Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you have clicked this video, then there are higher chances that you might be facing some difficulties while learning SQL. SQL is a key data skill, but there is so much confusion around since there are so many platforms available to learn the skill. Though I know there are questions in mind that what is the most effective and fastest way to learn SQL, or what are the most important topics from interview point of view. If you are someone who is facing these exact queries, then sit back and relax, because by the end of this video I'll give the answers to all the queries that you are having. I've been using SQL from quite some years now as a data professional. So I'll tell you the exact steps that I'll follow if I have to start learning SQL from the very scratch. So let's dive in. First of all, what is SQL? SQL is structured query language, and it lets you interact with the data. Of course, we all know this definition, but today I'll give you a picture which will change your mindset to look at the SQL. For example, now look at this command. Select star from table name where chocolate equals to dark. Here from this command, you are retrieving all the data from a table where chocolate's name is dark. Now if you will see the sentence, it almost feels like simple basic English. Now on the contrary, let me give you another example from English. Let's say we have a drawer and there are numerous varieties of chocolates in it. And if I want to choose a specific kind of chocolate, for example dark chocolate, I'll phrase the sentence like choose chocolates from drawer that are dark. If you will compare this format with SQL statement, you will find a lot of similarity. So when next time while learning SQL, try to relate each and every query with simple English. And the best part is, for that you don't even need a technical degree. But why learn SQL? Can't AI just do it for us? Since there is lot of buzz going around, AI is gonna automate stuff, manual jobs will be at risk and whatnot. Sure, AI tools can code, but SQL is going to be in demand for these specific roles like data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, product analyst, project manager and whatnot. According to Stack Overflow, SQL still remains the third most used language among developers. And if you are also looking to go into these similar kind of roles, SQL should be on your learning path. Step number 1 is choose an environment. SQL works within database management system, and each DBMS has its own flavors of SQL. Again, according to Stack Overflow, where more than 1.2 lakh professional developers responded, they said the three most used DBMS are SQLite, PostgreSQL, and MySQL. And I'll share the link to download these platforms in the description box, so you can download from there very easily. But what's the difference between these three and which one should you choose? Well, it really doesn't matter, since syntax is almost similar across all the three platforms. All are open sources and free to download. And if you don't want to download any software on your machine, then you can always go for cloud databases which are available on Google, Microsoft and Amazon. In this step, I'm not going to tell you to cover 100% of the syllabus or memorize all the SQL syntaxes, because you also know there is a hell lot of syllabus to cover and no one actually memorizes all the syntaxes. So pause the video right away, grab a pen and paper, because I'm gonna be telling you the most effective and the fastest way to learn as well as remember SQL. Number 1. Only focus to cover the fundamentals first. And by fundamentals, I mean to say, try to understand what is a database, what is a relational database, what is the difference between a relational as well as non-relational database, what is SQL, what are its application, and after that, move on to the syntax. This includes statements like earlier, select from where, as well as the CRUD operations, which stands for create, read, update, delete. So whenever you are choosing to learn SQL, try to choose a tutorial which is a brief one or which can be completed in 1 or 2 sittings. Next, try to learn all the concepts by practicing, because research shows When you try to learn anything passively, you only retain 20%. Whereas while learning actively, you can retain 75 to 90%. Number 2, use mnemonics to remember query order. So SQL have a specific query order which is select from, where, group by, having, order by, limit. So to remember this, you can use a riddle which I am giving you right now, and it will help you to remember it. So the riddle goes like this: silly farmer working graciously having only lettuce. So next time before the interview or maybe in interview round, if you're forgetting the query order, you can always try to recall the mnemonics, and with the help of this, you will definitely remember the query order. Number 3, 5 most important SQL topics from interview point of view. Learning the language is one thing, but acing the interview is just another ball game. I know so many people around who claim to know SQL, but when those same people sit for the interviews, their reactions are somewhat like this. If you don't want to be in the same situation, then before going to any interviews, don't forget to cover these 5 topics. To begin with, number 1, joins, and it includes all kinds of joins: inner, outer, left, right. Number 2, aggregate functions and group by. Number 3, subquery and CTE. CTE stands for common table expression. Number 4, indexes and query optimization. Very, very important. Number 5, Windows function. And if you want, you can please take a screenshot of this and keep it very handy, because no matter what, for whichever company you go, definitely there are going to be questions asked from these topics. At first, you can feel intimidated while learning some topics, but to make your learning easier, you can always use Feynman technique, which suggests you can break down the complex topics, or maybe you can teach those topics to someone else or maybe yourself, because that will help you to break complex topics into simpler ones, and which will again solidify your understanding. Number 4, practice, practice and practice. Once you have completed all the syllabus and covered all the concepts, try to dedicate a 30-minute slot in a day to practice SQL. Because there is a concept called the curve of forgetting, which states if you don't review the material for a month, you will forget 97% of it in just a month. And on the hindsight, if you just review the material in a day, even for some minutes, you will retain more. Some of the platforms that you can use for practicing are, and here I have divided the platforms into 3 parts. First one is the beginner friendly, second is intermediate, and third, if you want to make any kinds of project. So if you are a beginner level, you can choose W3 School, SQL Zoo or Mode Analytics. If you are intermediate learner, then you can use any platforms among these according to your convenience. Then for projects based learning, choose any of these. I'll also include all the links in the description box below to make your learning easier further. And this is the summary of today's video. If you found this video helpful, then please like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for staying till here, and I'll see you in the next one.